Back in 1988, Lords of Acid broke into the Belgian techno-rave industrial scene with the monumental track I Sit on Acid, which featured a punishing dance beat, aggressive synths, and overtly sexual lyrics. And it also proved popular in the U.S. as well. 15 years ago, Lords of Acid and My Life with a Thrill Kill Kult teamed up for their Sextreme Ball tour. And now, 15 years later, they're both back together again for the Sextreme Ball, which comes our way on Friday, July 30th at the Gramercy Theater. And I'm happy to welcome to the show the mastermind behind Lords of Acid. Praga Khan is with us. And the first thing I have to say to you is you are indirectly responsible for a lot of bad behavior that I've gotten up to listening to your music. But you know what? As I've gotten older, they've become fond memories now. Tell us about, because I know you had your own career, but tell us about the whole, how the whole project of Lords of Acid came together way back in, what was it, 1990?
It was in 1990, yeah. In those days, it was like the dance music became extremely popular, electronic dance music in Europe.
Sure.
And so in those days, it was called electronic body music.
EBM, right?
EBM, yeah. You have the front 242, split second, like all these bands. And so I had this crazy idea to come with something that was more rough, I want to make something more edgy, and not only in sound but also in lyrics. And I come with the idea to put some crazy, sexy lyrics on my beats, and it really worked extremely well, So everybody was raving about it, and there was also a lot of people copying it, and so it became almost a style, like hard techno music with sexual lyrics on top of it.
Yeah, because the first record that I had heard was Lust in 1991. Yeah, that was the first one that I was at a party and somebody played it. It eventually did become a band, Lords of Acid, because you had to play live shows.
Yeah, that's it. Because we were quite surprised, because in those days I was also touring as Praga Khan,
Yeah.
And in the UK doing big raves, and in Japan. When I was touring Japan, I received a phone call from America, and they asked me, "Hey, what would you think about coming over to the States to do a tour?" Because
right.
I didn't even know it was that popular over here. I said yes, but it's going to be quite difficult because I'm on tour in Japan, and like in 2 months later I have to tour the UK, but I have like 8 weeks time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record an album in that time frame, in those eight weeks, and that's when we recorded Lust,
Right.
But I think that's also the good thing about these recordings, because it's like very direct,
Sure.
I was not thinking too much about what it had to sound like, or I just did what I felt at the moment. It was very emotional, the album, and I was and it became an amazing success, especially because they also used like Lords of Acid music in big movies.
Yes.
Like the Basic Instinct and Sliver and Spire Shagged Me and all this, and all these movies, and that helped a lot for the selling of the albums.
And how did you wind up getting involved with this double tour? This is the second time you've gone out with My Life with a Thrill Kill Kult, and I guess in a way you're both mining similar worlds.
Yeah, the thing is that it works very well together, the two bands, because we did this tour back in '94.
Yes.
And it was also the first Lords of Acid tour in the States, and it was so much fun. And we have a great relationship going on between the two bands, like a very nice relationship, close friends, and they're great guys, and girls. And so that then Chris Niter, our current manager in the States, he said, "Why not do a reunion, a sort of a reunion tour at this point?" And he asked me in February, and I was thinking about it. I'm going to do it, yes and no. But the more I was thinking about it, the more I got into it.
Right.
And now I'm so happy that we did it because it's amazing. We have the energy on stage. We have a lot of people coming to the shows. A lot of people who came to the shows long ago, but also a lot of new people, like all young kids. And that's what also makes me very happy that there's a lot of new fans coming to see the shows. What's also very strange this time when I talk to like younger people who come to the shows,
mm-hmm.
they all start talking to me about Lady Gaga and stuff, you know.
Oh sure, yeah.
I recognize a lot of Lady Gaga sounds in the Lords of Acid sets, you know. But it's because these are the good sounds from the early 90s that Lady Gaga is also using.
Right.
And that makes a link because it's not that far from what we did 15 years ago.
We should mention that you have a new female vocalist with you on this tour, do you not?
Yes, it was an amazing experience because I did a lot of things in my life, a lot of crazy things, but this really tops it all, you know. So because I was preparing the show back in Europe, and Chris Kay, he came up with the idea, let's take an American band now with us on tour,
right?
Because that's gonna give it a different sound, and so the thing is that I was supposed to come over to LA to rehearse with the band, but I couldn't get my visa on time. So I arrived in Seattle, and I arrived in the afternoon, and in the evening we had to play the first concert. So I was on stage with 4 people I've never ever seen in my life, you know. So I didn't know what it was going to be, but still, I had a lot of confidence, you know, because it felt good immediately. We met, and they all said, "Yeah, we're a big fan of your music, and we've been seeing the Sextreme Ball tour long ago as a fan, and now we're so happy that we can come on stage with you." And that energy really explodes now on the stage. That's amazing because also Lacey, she's very, very, very good.
Let me ask you: would you do another Lords of Acid record?
That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm very emotional when it comes down to making music. I always have to feel it in my entire body. I cannot do something on command.
Right.
It just comes out when it comes out, and. Now, after all these experimental stuff that I was doing in Europe, I felt like really ready to write a new Lords of Acid album. And then Chris Kay, he came with the idea, why not do the tour? And then for me, so the circle was round, you know. It was the right thing to do. Coming to America, do this tour now, get really into the vibe again, meet with the fans, then go into the studio and record the best Lords of Acid record ever, you know.
All right.
That's what I'm planning, and then come back in let's say February, March to do like a big tour with a new album and with this new band.
I guess these shows are very inspiring that you're doing.
It's really a totally different atmosphere on stage, especially with the American band. It really clicks. So we have a very, very good relationship on stage, and I'm sure that when I work in Europe in fall, recording the album, then bring these guys in around November, and then go out on tour in February and March. That would be the perfect thing to do.
Wow. Well, that's great. You're going to be in New York City on the 30th, which is next Friday. So we want to encourage everybody to check out the Sextreme Ball as Lords of Acid and My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult together again. Tell me about the craziest thing that's ever happened on stage. Has anyone gotten so involved in the music, as an audience member, that they've misbehaved?
It happens all the time. Yeah, because the thing is that it even happens to me every time I'm on stage, because when this show starts, I really transform. I'm like a little bit like the Hulk, It's like
right.
I transform into this other person, and from then on, I cannot control it anymore, because at that point I'm so into the music that I don't know what's going to happen. And also the guy who's playing with me now, the one guy is from Ministry, the other guy from Powerman 5000, and the other guy from Society 1. So they all said, for us, it's a real adventure to be on stage with you, because we never know what's going to happen, what's going to happen next. But that's what makes it like really fun on stage. It's so much fun.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Praga. We really appreciate it. We encourage everybody to check out the show on June 30th, Lords of Acid, My Life a Thrill Kill Cult, Gramercy Theater, New York City, and go to a bunch of shows, because you're going to be all over the East Coast. And this is a long tour, and you never know what Praga's going to do on stage. That's what we've learned tonight. Well,
and you never know what Lazy or India are going to do on stage. Sexy chicks.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much, Praga. It's been a pleasure.